Our history begins as a place of adventure that begat violence. The conflict between good and bad, right and wrong, becomes a desire for the law. For with law comes order and civilization. But there'll always be those who live beyond the law. Something about outlaws captures our imagination, stimulates our curiosity. Hi, I'm Bill Landry. Welcome to Heartland Tonight, where we'll venture to the other side of the law. Removed from the violence, it's human nature to enjoy stories of the bad, the notorious. Somehow we manage to make our bad guys into heroes. We see them motivated by wrongdoing that takes them to the wrong side of the law, and we're unwilling to see them as just bad seeds. Tonight, moonshiners and revenuers, keepers of the law, and victims of circumstances. We'd like to think that there's some good in the most callous killer. Our first story tonight finds a widow's hospitality softens even the hardest heart. The hard times that follow the Civil War cast some unsavory characters in the unlikely role of heroes. Their fame spreads far and wide in the dime novels of the times. An oft-told tale has one such legendary character riding into Tennessee.
Looks like you could use a hand. Doing your spring cleaning?
Getting ready to move.
Yeah, it's a good day to move.
If you want to move, I've got someplace to move to.
Well, I hate to trouble you, man, but can we get something to eat? We'll pay for it.
About all I got left is a pot of beans.
Beans sounds pretty good right now.
I'm always ready to eat.
I hate to have you eat outside.
It's okay. We're used to eating outside. A good meal tastes that much better than the clean, fresh air.
It'll be good to have company one last time in this old place.
Why are you leaving?
Can't pay the banknote. Sheriff will be here directly.
What's the bank want from you?
Too much to even think about. Lord, I hate to leave this place. It says everything I ever wanted or needed. Can't think about that now. The bank wants its $500, and I ain't got it.
Take this, ma'am. This ought to help you out.
I can't take this much money from somebody I don't know.
Don't think of us as strangers. We're in a lucky streak, and we just want to help you out.
I'd like to, but I can't take this money. I always worked hard for everything I got.
Ma'am, I'm not used to anybody telling me no. We want to leave this with you. We don't want to see anybody losing their land. Make sure you get a receipt. Make it all legal like.
Thanks for the beans, ma'am. Hello, Leona.
Hello, Sheriff.
Leona, I hate to do this, but you know why I'm here.
This be what you'd be needing, Sheriff.
Well, Leona, where'd you come by all that money all of a sudden?
Sometimes miracles just ride on through. I need that receipt, Sheriff.
Well, Leona, you can trust me.
I used to trust, but I don't do that much no more.
Hold it, Sheriff. I'll take everything you got, starting with that gun. Yeah, what do we got here? Look at that. I'll take that horse, too. Just step down, please.
As fact and fiction mingle over time, myth and legend emerge. In the legend of Jesse James, we have an American Robin Hood.
Nice doing business with us, Sheriff.
The event you just witnessed was said to actually happen in East Tennessee, and in Kentucky, and in Missouri. Jesse James rides into an enduring legend, a legend around which tales grow. Fact and fiction are now difficult to separate. In his time, sightings of Jesse James were probably akin to today's Elvis sightings. Whatever his shortcomings and violent tendencies, Jesse James must have been a hungry outlaw. This is just one of many stories of Jesse eating during his visits to the area. Next on Heartland Tonight, the law bonds a man and wife together. Another pair of brothers once rode a murderous path through Kentucky and Tennessee. The Harp brothers, known as Big Harp and Little Harp, would kill, cut open the body and fill it with rocks, then dump the body into the nearest river. The evil brothers found frontier justice equally barbaric. Captured in Kentucky, Big Harp was beheaded by a victim's enraged husband. At a spot known as Harp's Head Road, Big Harp's head stood as a warning for all to see. In Morgan County, there was one tough lady who helped the high sheriff uphold the law. She worked closely with the sheriff, on occasion even filling in for him. For her, the bonds of matrimony became the bonds of law.
Yes, sir, in the neck of the woods, wild, wild. No wonder Sister called herself a wild woman.
This sister, Georgia May Bingham, seemed to have inherited more than her share of spunk. Nicknamed Bill by a blind aunt, she was the outspoken one of 11 children who grew up in what's now the Catoosa Wildlife Management Area on the Cumberland Plateau. She and big sister Thelma are the oldest, but there are 6 more sisters. And when growing up, admirers were thick around the Bingham farm. Bill came up with her own way of dealing with the fellas, as one young swain found out.
And he just got a little fresh with me, and I threw him down on the bed, beat the fire out of him on the bed.
But all that changed when she met Pistol Pete Burge, a man as tough as she was. You might say she fell head over heels.
I was there getting water, you know, and when I stooped down to get it, why, he said, "Hello, darling," just like that. When I raised up, looked and seen it was him, I just fell in head and ears. But I could hear him, but he said, "Oh, darling, I come to ask you to marry me." And he had to pull me out of the hole, the water.
Not long after they married, Pistol Pete was elected sheriff of Morgan County, and his wife earned a new nickname, Miss Pete, because when her husband was busy, Miss Pete was the sheriff. Did you arrest people?
Why, sure. Plenty of them.
Did you ever carry a gun?
No. I told him I didn't have no gun. I said, "Ain't got nothing but my badge, and Bud, you're going with me."
You just give them the evil eye look?
Well, I guess that must have been it. Mean eyes.
Can you give me that look?
Well, I just putting on now. And when I meant it, why, it would look worse.
This was the 1930s, and it was hard for many people to believe a woman could act as sheriff. That worked out fine for Miss Pete. She came up with outlaws nobody else could touch.
And I tooted my horn and went on down the road a little piece and raised up the hood. He said, "Wait a minute, lady. Let me throw my wood down." Said, "I'll be and see what I can do to help you out." He was looking in there to see what was the matter. I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, let's just put that hood down. I've got a warrant for you." He said, "Hell far." Well, he said, "That's the first time I ever thought I'd ever be caught by a damn woman." That's what some of them said. "I'd just knock the hell out of you." He said, if you was a man or tried. But he said, I'll not do it, and you a woman. He said, "A woman's got the guts that you got, I'll just not do nothing to her."
Only once does Miss Pete recall being scared, when there was a jailbreak.
He is a murderer, all right, that he killed a woman that turned up a still to my husband and a jaybird. And he tracked her all the way back to her home and he shot her. I was there taking care of the jail myself, and when I opened the door, he was sitting on the steps. I said, "Oh, my God, what are you doing up there?" He said, "I'm not going to bother you because you're good to me and you take care of the jail and you're a hard-working woman." He said, "I'll just tell you to go get your keys and come and lock me back up in that cell up there before," he says, "I get really mad." So I got my keys. And he said, and I went to the top of the steps and I said, "Are you in?" He said, "Yes, ma'am." I said, "Over here I am in this cell."
Was that a hard job?
Well, sure, it was hard, but I didn't care. Wasn't too hard, wasn't too tough for me. Just like when I look in the glass, you know, it's pretty tough to look in the glass and you say, "That's blamed ugly," but it suits me.
We continue on the other side of the law with the fabled mountain game of cat and mouse. The Moonshiner and the Revenuer when Heartland Tonight returns. Moonshining. It's a tradition that's become a stereotype. Turning corn into liquor has its roots on the frontier, when it was easier to haul a load of whiskey to market than bulky corn. It's a risky business. Living outside the law always is. For those willing to take the risks, there's cash money to be made.
I was about 16, 17 years old when I first went to make it. Back then, you had to make it if you eat. You didn't make whiskey and sell it to the big man. You didn't eat.
For years, Euless Roberts of Anderson County made moonshine. The mountains of East Tennessee were blessed with corn, plenty of cold running water, and lots of places to hide. All the ingredients for making the very best White Lightning. For some, it was the only way they could make a living. But in the end, moonshining always took its toll. The story of Euless Roberts is no exception.
You never seen a man in your life that wouldn't take a drink good moonshine. That's good for cold. You drink enough of it while you climb a locust tree backwards.
Would you ever sell a gallon of whiskey to a man you didn't like?
Yeah. Yes, sir. I've done that right here. And prayed for it to kill him.
Did you ever make a batch of bad moonshine?
Yeah. Made a run one time and went back the next day to make another. Well, that run we made, it like to blowed up on us. I jumped up on top of the furnace, had a big old flat rock laying on top of the cap. I sat down on it. And raised up and down and drank it, poof, like that. And there's a big mouse was in the arm of that cap. He got hung in that elbow.
With a wire curl?
Yeah, finally blowed him through. When he blowed him through, everything settled down. Next day, we washed and cleaned everything up. I heard something in that thump cake. I turned it up and looked for the next one went down through is a 2-inch hole. His little head dropped out through that hole. Eyeballs tucked out down on his cheek. Oh, that's the sickest thing I ever seen in my life.
What happened to the whiskey out of that?
Sold it. Yeah, sold it. It's gone, but the moonshine is gone.
Were you ever caught?
Never was. Only thing I've ever been arrested for is drunkenness. I used to drink it, buddy. Whiskey. I run the best man in the world. I've drunk it when I be so drunk and go to bed. Big snakes get up on the head of my bed. Head looking up and down in the face. You can't move. If somebody, I believe, if somebody didn't come in and touch you or something, that you die. Ain't made to drink, it's made to sell. And it took me a long time to find out what it's for. But I finally did. And when I found out what it was, what it's doing for me, I quit it.
Where there's a moonshiner, there's usually a revenuer not far behind. Someone like Red Beeler.
Back when I went to work and up until I quit, hours meant nothing. We'd hit the woods and we might not come out for 3 or 4 days at a time.
What would you do in there?
We'd make us a bed and under a tree, and we'd stay right there till the operator showed up and started to operate the still.
Was it a game?
No, it wasn't exactly a game, and then yet I guess you could call it a game.
For 22 years, it was a game that James Big Red Beeler played to win. Today, such men are called special agents. But when Red first began, they worked for the Internal Revenue Service, hence the name, Revenuer.
How many stills do you think you've raided?
1,000. I've cut at least 50 in one day.
What cutting? What's that mean?
Tearing them up.
Bring an axe?
Axe, dynamite.
It was a game more about money than it was about morals. The rules were simple. The moonshiner's goal was to sell untaxed liquor. The revenuer had to stop him any way he could. All the players knew each other. Still operators were known as femurs, and they had nicknames of their own for their favorite revenuers. Names like Skinhead, Ashtray, and Big Red.
When you bust through that ivy and saw that still and see those 4 or 5 guys there.
It's a thrill. It's a thrill. Blood pressure goes up and the race is on. It'd be just like running in on a covey of doves. Everybody took off in different directions.
The game was played at full speed in this region. The half-gallon fruit jar and the Silver Cloud still were East Tennessee trademarks. The Silver Cloud could make more whiskey faster than any still around.
They used Epsom salts in it, Red Seal lye. They used isopropyl alcohol, just anything to get it to proof up pretty good proof and to ferment as fast as they could ferment it. As the old timers would say, that's liquor to be sold and not to be drank.
East Tennessee moonshine was sold to the underworld of northern cities like Chicago, Cincinnati, and Detroit. Liquor runners played the game wide open.
They didn't make any of the liquor. They didn't do anything but haul. Some of them could hit a ditch line, ride it for 30 or 40 yards, come out of that ditch and go right on down the road. Roadblock's still sitting there, hadn't even got their motor started yet.
The notorious Thunder Road of legend and song ran through Knoxville out on Kingston Pike.
But the real Thunder Road was from Cosby at the middle part.
For all its thrills, it was a sad game. But for most moonshiners, poor and poorly educated, it was the only game in town.
One fella, he had quite a large family. He put 2 of them through high school and college. He went to the penitentiary about 3 different times that I can recall. He's one of them that told the judge he couldn't promise him he wouldn't make liquor because if his family got hungry, why, he'd make liquor before he'd steal. People of that type that you had respect for, or at least I did. But at the same time, I knew I had a job to catch them and send them to penitentiary if I had to.
Did these people come to respect you?
I hope they did, or at least I think they did. I still see a lot of them that I sent to the penitentiary, and I'm not carrying a gun today.
It played in Hollywood as Thunder Road. In reality, the road ran through Knoxville down Kingston Pike. Our Heartland version of Thunder Road was almost stopped before it started. When we were preparing to shoot the car chase scenes, the guys who owned the cars wanted to flip one of them over. Channel 10's general manager at the time got wind of that and laid down the law. No car would flip over and 40 miles per hour would be the speed limit. So much for our thoughts of stunts, although the drivers did stretch that 40 miles per hour rule a bit. Next up on Heartland tonight, a time when skin color could put you on the other side of the law. In 1919, Knoxville was a tinderbox of feeling because a black man was accused of killing a white woman. For a time, a black person couldn't walk down the street without being on the wrong side of the law. Turn of the century Knoxville bustles with industry. Knoxville mirrors the national exodus from country to city life. To a South Carolina black family, the city offers hope of a job. What they find is not without cost and conflict, pain, and harsh realities.
You can live any place if you're in a condition where you need to better yourself.
12-year-old Cecile Lyons and her family accept the challenge of Knoxville in 1912.
That was my first job, taking care of William in the afternoons when I came from school. And that church, that's the corner of State and Church, there's a cemetery there. We were afraid to go into the cemetery. but we played on the steps. Most times I didn't have a lot of idle time. I worked all the time. The first one, then the other.
Along with what opportunities are offered blacks come barriers.
August 8th. Yeah, I think they said that was Emancipation Day and we celebrated. We could go to Chilhowee Park on the 8th of August, but other times it was a no-no.
Knoxville reflects the climate of the times when simmering differences erupt one August weekend in 1919.
The thoughts of a black man killing a white woman, that was the cause of the whole thing.
The arrest of Morris Mays, a black man on the murder charge, triggers an angry mob. Failing in lynching Mays, the raging mob tears through the streets. Shooting breaks out. Accounts vary, but officials list one National Guardsman and one black dead before the militia clamps down on the city.
On Monday, I didn't know that Sturkey's wasn't going to be open, and I caught the streetcar and got off at Union, and one of the guards, he searched me. I guess he thought maybe about me being black. I might have had a gun or something on me, I suppose. I didn't think too much about it. But later years, it kind of affected me a bit. We had a nice speaking acquaintance and occasionally a conversation. Seeing the type of disposition he had, I didn't see how he could do that.
Aside from the public indignities come private moments of hurt from an employer.
We'd have a cup of coffee together in the mornings, but she didn't approve of us blacks having lunch up at Miller's or wherever they had places then. And it was really kind of surprising that she had that attitude when I'd been doing so much for her, but I was going to quit. Well, I studied about it a little bit, and of course I needed that money. I just decided that I could raise myself above that.
A thin line separates right from wrong. To make the line more visible, we must have laws, no matter how civilized we think we are. Thanks for being with us, and join us next week on Heartland Tonight.